2025. We'll start with a prayer and the pledge of allegiance. So everybody will stand. Dear Lord, we pray that you look over us tonight as we do the business of the city, Lord. Bless the work that we do and allow it to better the city and its citizens. Right. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, so first thing on the agenda is consideration and approval of last month's minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes from last month? I was out, and so I definitely reviewed the minutes. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
I'll make Katrina, Myrick, so I approve the minutes.
So do I have a second? I'll second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. All right, first thing up is new site plan considerations and our 4A item, site plan approval for Puckett Machinery. I guess, Mike, do you have any intro you want to give on this?
Well, basically, we have Mr. Puckett here tonight. If y'all have any questions of him to present his plan. But we actually ran this by Casey and some others on ARB to review the initial plan. This is basically what I think everybody came up that was going to be acceptable. So they do have a detailed landscape plan, building elevations, and this is just for your information in a special flood hazard area, and we will be reviewing the flood management plan that is going to be submitted after this gets approval tonight, hopefully. And but at any rate, these are the drawings, and like I say, we do recommend approval.
All right. Well, does anybody have any questions for Puckett or things you'd like to discuss on the site plan? So the biggest change, I guess, from what we received was looks like the color scheme appears.
Right.
Going from the red to the black.
Yeah, this is actually what's official in the office right now. So
I had one question about the frontage road concept that I know that got sketched on there. I know this is outside of what Puckett is on. Maybe more of a question for the city. That's a long way away.
Shooting for the stars.
Shooting for the stars again. But this layout works okay with what the city is
They have been willing to work with us for any future road right away easements coming through there, just in case something comes up. That way we're not having to tear down any of their buildings.
Right, keeping them away from that.
I assume this is on CMPDD's transportation plan.
They're updating theirs right now moving forward with it. But yes, they are also going to work on giving us a portion of distribution drive that is private on top of these easements so that we can get all of distribution drive.
Okay.
As well.
Is it like that junction at the north corner?
Actually, right here at their property line.
Okay, that's where
Everything south, including that big cul-de-sac, is
private.
technically private right
now. Any other questions? Yeah, do you have any comments or anything you'd like to tell us? Or some of us have seen the initial stuff from the rezoning, but we've got some new members that may just like to hear about your business. And,
yeah, absolutely. Do I need to sign in for a speech?
It's not a public hearing. So
okay. Right. Yeah, so this is, for those that aren't familiar, this would be for our part of our business we call Puckett Rents. We currently have a location in Gluckstadt over on Church Road. And the reality is we built that in 2005 and we've grossly outgrown it. It's like it was operating on 4 acres. And we had actually started purchased an additional acre and in the process of expanding that building. We had started construction when the Camper Corral property came up for sale And, I just felt for the long term, that's just, the right property for us. It gives us the space that you need to really grow. So we're going from 4 to 5 acres to 11 acres. And the building we've designed is, about 60% bigger, than the one we're currently operating in. And it just provides us the opportunity to grow our business. Y'all are well aware of what's going on in this area. Business-wise, it's really good. And, with the visit, it's a prominent site with high visibility. And so we're, well, from our perspective, we're over-investing in the facility to try to we want it to be like a flagship facility for us, for our Puckett Rents brand. It'll be by far the nicest and most expensive equipment rental facility in the state by a long way. I've shared with a couple of people, we'll be investing, almost double what we would, in just the building alone, what we would do in a typical one. And then the property, of course, is very expensive, but we want it to be something everybody's proud of, that represents our brand, the city, the visibility. And so for what it is, an equipment rental business it's intended to be a first-class facility. And we designed it accordingly. Any other thoughts or questions?
I was gonna ask the building, so the main building of the parking lot, is that all heated and cooled, like office interior, or has it got some vehicle access?
From like
So,
here forward is, heated and cooled and finished out. It'll have nice finishes. And then from here back is what we refer to as our shop or our service department. So it'll be heated, it won't be cooled, but it'll be heated.
okay, and then the 3 buildings up at the top end are all like outdoor, indoor, like storage, I guess.
Yeah, pretty fine. Yeah, the one in the middle is a wash bay, and then the one, I guess, right far east is it's a warehouse type where we'll store. So part of our business, we sell what we call, or we consider contractor supplies. So we do a significant business there, and that's just extra on-site inventory, supply storage for our customers. And then this, which will really be pretty much hidden because of this, but it's same deal. It'll store things like customers come to we have like pallets of Quikrete, just as a simple example, or sand, or silt fence, or things like that. It's covered just to keep that stuff out of the weather, and it's proximity to where our operations. They come in, purchase it, whatever, and then they'll have their truck and trailer parked right outside the door loaded for them.
I have a quick question. Is the only entrance into the facility would be off distribution, correct? I love the site. I think the new colors are fantastic. I think it's great. Do y'all have any concerns about like the roads getting to distribution? Like, would there be more like 18-wheelers driving on that? Is that going to be an issue, like traffic or anything like that? It's not going to be more than that. I know there's a lot of trucks. There's like what is it, CIA, the car dealership and things like that. So that's not going to be any more.
Especially with the fresh coat of asphalt. I mean,
Yeah, because
the campers already come down,
yeah.
and they weigh, a good bit too. I don't think we'll have any problems with it.
I think whatever we haul won't be any heavier than what's already
on there. That's like,
No.
yeah.
Maybe it'll add some volume.
No, I appreciate the roads being redone too.
And it'll actually help that everything leaving the facility is more concrete than it is gravel right now, because you have less rock and everything getting out of the road, which will help tear it up. This will actually help us keep it in better shape.
Awesome.
I would say that also that if it is damage to the road, most of it's private anyway. That means
Until it comes
they'll
back.
have to bring it up to standard if they give it to the city.
Absolutely. Awesome.
To your point, the volume side, I mean, is that a concern from infrastructure and roads in general? Just like the amount of people, I mean, you want people in there, obviously coming in and out with trailers and everything. There's already daycare and all that stuff. Is that gonna?
5 o'clock traffic, it's gonna be 5 o'clock traffic.
No matter, yeah.
But normal time, I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, we pass by every day, their Puckett facility now. It's not bad traffic coming in and out. I mean, they're steadily busy, but it's not enough to.
Yeah,
know, back to something CIA or anything like that.
Yeah.
When do y'all get your deliveries?
Well, so generally we open at 6 a.m., trying to get ahead of the traffic. And, you know, most of the year, you know, or much of the year, our contractors start work early. So they're trying to beat the heat. So generally we'll open it around 6 and then, you know, try to get our trucks out in the first, you know, if we're doing our job, we'd have loads for the next morning lined up at the end of the prior day. So at 6:15, you know, the trucks are rolling to make their first round of deliveries. And, you know, deliveries can be local, they could be, I mean, distances vary. And, but it's kind of throughout the, and we have trucks that come and go, picking up and delivering equipment kind of throughout the day. We try to minimize the rush hour because it's inefficient for us as much as it is anybody else. You know, it's sometimes we get called in it, but we try to get our morning runs out before the rush hour traffic, and then we're circulating back after it. And then generally our days, I mean, they have a hard close at 5, but just the way our business works, it slows down like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock is, you know, things slow down.
What's the, I guess the biggest piece of equipment you'll have, like, available on the site?
So the biggest piece we should be inventorying would be what we call what's considered a 320 excavator, which is a medium-sized excavator.
And I guess ingress egress as far as like heights and all that is okay, getting access to the road.
Yeah, this stuff we haul every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. And, you know, this location, because of what we call our Puckett Wrench brand, which probably doesn't mean much to you guys, but it's not our heavy equipment brand, which, or Puckett Machinery, which carries carries the medium and the larger stuff. This will be medium and down, medium size and down. You know, generally don't need permanent, you know, they're not overweight loads, over width loads. That's really not what we're carrying here.
And you're maintaining the other facility? Sorry, and you're maintaining the other facility as well?
That's
Or the other camp, or-
actually, we arranged a deal with people, the Camp Corral owners have purchased our existing facility. And, we purchased theirs.
That worked out.
So all the accessory
Rarely
buildings
does a
meet
lot
the
like
current, meet the setback. I know some of them look pretty close to the property lines. I don't know what
The intent is for them to,
Yeah, I think it's only like 5 feet.
A lot of it's gonna be governed
that
by
looks
the,
tight. I was just making sure if it looks like on the opposite side of the property line, it's kind of the same scenario. So
And that's fenced along there.
yes, fenced. And, you know, the other thing that may not be reflected on there, talking about how close they are to the property line. I think we'll have to build some of them up because of the floodplain. That's probably gonna push them away from the fence a little bit to allow the proper drainage. So, you know, where they're drawn now, once the engineers finish the civil plans, I wouldn't be surprised if they had to push out, you know, a few extra feet just to allow for slow building up the pad.
Do you have an idea or an example, I guess, of what fence style you're planning to do there around the outside? I know we went through this with a couple other projects where we've been trying to get like if we're gonna do link, like the black coated link. I know we
this is
looked
what
at that
was
on
shown,
other
and that
projects.
was just, this was shown
Yeah, it's hard to tell color from there, I guess.
rendering.
I would think certainly that's what y'all want, is what we'll do, but I would think that would make sense too, just, it's a nicer look and it matches the.
So visible.
Right, it's gonna be right along the.
Yeah, to be honest with you, this is not really something I've talked about, or the architects now, we haven't quite gotten that detailed.
Sorry.
Is the rebrand, and this is just off the cuff, like the rebranding the red and black different from your traditional yellow and black for this particular branding marketing?
Yeah,
for
so
the
actually that's, Caterpillar is in the midst of, for the, what we call rental stores, they're rebranding their rental stores. Right, and it's actually, it's not that matters. It's not even public yet. It's gonna be public in January is when they're gonna announce, release their rebranding, but because it impacts, the coloring of our buildings, the finishes, the deal, well, that's not official, but that's what it's gonna look like. They allowed us to use, they gave us a sample, allowed us to use it for these purposes.
Okay.
So, the yellow's going, the tractors are still,
Yeah,
but the sign is, the yellow's going away.
Let me ask a question. I'm just remembering the first time it came through. My memory may not be correct, but I thought the building was flipped so that the entrance was facing the interstate. Was that not the case?
No, ma'am.
That was for, I guess, for the rezoning, so they had maybe a rough drop line of it, but it wasn't.
And I think our original, well, I know, our original plans were to take the existing Camper Corral building and try to renovate and expand it. And that was the initial, I think, plans I presented and where we were headed. And then just ultimately decided I'm trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole. And when we're trying to do a flagship facility that'll be here for a long time, it just that wasn't the answer. So I kind of rebooted using, doing a whole new.
So is the plan to divide off that lower portion of the lot? I see it's, I guess the fence is going through there.
So debated that for a period of time, whether to try to divide it off and lease or properly lease that the existing facility. But ultimately, where I'm leaning right now is we're going to keep it, and I'm kind of exploring a couple of different business models to move some other operations of ours or potential operations into it. I'm almost certain if we do, we'll have to do some renovation.
But in this phase, there's no plans to touch it.
This phase, no plan to touch it. Yep.
Well, I just want to thank you for working closely with us at ARB to make the changes that you made. We appreciate you and we're excited about the development.
Well, thank you, y'all too, and we're looking forward to getting this project going.
All right, well, do I have a motion? On this project?
I'll make a motion to approve with the caveat that we just make sure it's gonna be the black, at minimum, the black coated fence or above or whatever, not gonna pigeonhole you, but just not the, original chain link. Yeah.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries, recommended for approval.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clement.
Thank you.
All right, so continuing on, our next item on the agenda, request for approval for KO Center site plan. Do we have any?
Yes, a little bit of history behind this. KO Center subdivision was probably one of the first actual subdivisions constructed when Gluckstadt became a city. The preliminary plat's been approved. The final plat has not been approved by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. So any approval that you give tonight, I would ask that you would have the caveat that if the site plan would be approved, subject to Mayor and Board of Aldermen approving the final plat. I told them they could do this concurrently to try to save some time. And so we could do site plan approval while we're parallel, I guess, getting a parallel approval with the Mayor and Board on final plat.
And that's the property lines that are drawn, I guess, on here. Is that the
Yes,
plan?
and actually, I think another developer is developing on the north side of that road. But we're not going to allow any construction, before the final plat is filed, because then when the final plat is filed, they'll shift maintenance of KO Drive over to the city after the 1-year warranty period.
Right, so you want to make sure that all the construction.
We got to get as-built plans. We got to do a final inspection. And we got to get the health department approvals on water and sewer also. In trying to work with developers, we're saying, okay, we'll let the site plans go forward so they can at least get that, approval process out of the way. Anyway, I do ask that you would do that. But this is gonna be an overall site plan for all the buildings, so it won't be just approval for one. I believe there's 5 there, and so whatever you approve would be for that. They do have detailed landscape plan and renderings for you to consider. And we ask that you just take a look at those and
Are the,
recommend approval.
are those final plats coming through us or not? They're not.
No, they'll come through y'all. Well, the preliminary plan did.
I was gonna
It's
say, I know
already
we've
been
seen some
approved by this
plats.
board.
Yeah, I didn't know what the official.
Yeah, so they're past the preliminary plat stage.
The final plat will just go to all.
Right.
The past few that have came in preliminary and final,
That's
they
the
sent
second
out because they were already existing, they were just splitting them right.
But
This is the first new from the base up.
right.
All right, well,
And this is north of Sullivan?
just.
Yes, this is actually Sullivan's right there.
Is there any representatives for the developer here? All right, well, we can discuss, the biggest thing I had, just to kick us off, I thought the architecture was a little disjointed maybe it could be a little more, integrated. But not that any of them individually look bad, I think they all look very nice, but it was a little bit all over the place. And then my other big thing was maybe some better connections with the sidewalks and pedestrian paths, between the buildings and, out to the sidewalk along the road. Just some type of, walkway or striping that makes that a little clear where the people, I expect all these little jam cheerleaders to want to go, burgers and blues after practice. And so it'd be nice to give them a place to walk safely, in some way, with my opinion.
So is that what gym is? It's like a cheerleading
A dance.
dance facility? Okay.
Yeah.
We have neighbors that have, brought some concern as far as like their property backs up to where it says like 10 right there, I guess, by Jamplex and right there, yes. So their property backs up to, obviously they're familiar with the fact that it's city property, but how close is that? Is that the actual property line right there? Do we know?
I think it's supposed to be like 50 feet, isn't it?
From
It should be a 50
From
foot
residential.
Between residential.
between residential,
Yeah, so that would be the property line, you just have 50-foot
from the
buffer to
park to that,
for the building.
From the building, yeah, not the park.
okay.
But the back, yeah, is that residential behind Jan? To the northwest?
Here,
That
it
is,
is.
because
Yes,
that's
they
essentially
would.
church road. That's where that line is,
That's
yeah.
right there.
Mhm.
This is another C3.
It's 50 feet, or you can reduce it if you have a fence.
The fence, okay. And they'll be interested in putting it,
But that nice is gonna go straight to that same residential side.
Yes, and technically, this has not been approved through ARB, just to make note
okay.
of that.
Because I was asking about the color condition.
Or is there one in particular, or just in general?
Well, and I will tell you that, I don't know what happened before, I've just kind of come on in this.
Yeah.
And apparently, this project has been delayed somehow or another in the office. I don't know what all the details were. So, they burned the midnight oil, really come up with this to try to get it in on time.
Right.
And so, I don't doubt that there's probably gonna be some issues with it,
Right.
with y'all.
We initially, had just an unofficial conversation.
Right.
And, I think they kind of circumvented ARB to have some conversations with some people at
Well, we can certainly,
Yeah.
higher pay grades, but, it has not, just for the record, gone through ARB, so.
I guess what do we want our standard procedure to be? Do we want an ARB Stanford Rule report comes to the board at all?
That is
what
gonna
we're
be
shooting for?
discussed at the next mayor and alderman meeting.
yeah, and, I don't mean to change the subject too much, but, John, we're gonna probably have to get with y'all on exactly how that's gonna happen, whether we're gonna have a separate meeting, with ARB, separate and apart from this board, which I think probably needs to be.
I think it's what y'all been doing. It was just 3 of y'all, right?
Right,
But-
I think we've just been working from home really and communicating.
But you really hadn't had a formal meeting.
It's not like they do it in here. They don't
Right,
have a separate
it's not a
board night
formal
here,
setting.
and then they just review them.
We review them individually, we come together, we agree on the changes. we make the
Right,
necessary
and
changes.
I think, you know, something needs to be put in place administratively for my office to be able to send,
I got you with me.
coordinate, you know, who gets plans when, and if they do meet, when do they meet? Who all's gonna be on the board, you know, who's the chairman of the board?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is a discussion with the aldermen.
So
For the
we're
next
a little
meeting,
bit of
they
flux
actually
there,
meet
you
on
know.
ballot at that
To
point.
determine who the new people are at the beginning of the new term, is that what you're trying to say? And now the Sam's
Correct.
off and all that, okay,
Yes.
And it's more or less
okay.
the way, it especially worked with Puckett is, you know, we've made sure we got that out case in Melanie. And, I think y'all really on it too, it's kind of.
Yeah, and they were
so
very quick to make those changes and respond.
Right, and,
so it worked
I-
out really well.
I don't know that, you know, these, they even got out to you at all, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
I think in the past, like the reason we started doing it that way is because it turned into what kind of brick, what kind of whatever. And we had this long discussion about it in
Taking up a
here,
lot of time.
bogged down the situation at the table, it, they'd come back. And instead we were like, let's just try to get all that stuff worked out
Right.
before we're here so we can just, you know, move on. And then, so, but I agree with you. I think maybe have some more, you know, official, policy or whatever.
Well, before, my time here before, this board served as the architecture.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, we were.
And so I'm having to, and I see change coming, and I'm just trying to see how we handle the change.
Well, they removed it from a formal function of this board in their meetings, to just be a subset with the 3 of them handling it separately so they can report to them on a site plan that they've already reviewed. So it sounds like to me the confusion on this one is just because of the transition phase that we're in right now. Is that maybe part of it?
Part of it.
Okay.
Can we move, I guess, forward? I want to know what a building is. I'm unsure. It's very clear what some of them are, but then you have the one that's,
That's the gym, the cheer gym. the
so
gym.
that's the jam. Okay.
That would be,
So again, they haven't gone through.
Okay. Okay, yes.
Yeah, so
That's the jam.
And essentially, that's the front of it, to the back of it would be.
that's your entrance. So if you're looking at it on this site plan
And so
here,
I couldn't tell what that was.
you're looking at it from standing right here.
Okay.
You're Looking at it.
Okay, so that's it over there.
So from the back entrance to some, that's what it's going to look like.
and since there's nobody here to represent, we can always.
But, certainly if y'all want to, you know, I guess you could approve subject to architectural review. And, yeah, I'll make sure Casey and Melanie get a copy of the, you know, plans that they can look at. Or if you want to make them come back, that's
Yeah,
okay too.
our ordinance does say that for site plan review, the applicant should be present at the meeting. It's in the ordinance, so.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not here.
But we also have the
Well,
concern.
it's not a public
About that as
meeting.
well, but- Okay.
Your public hearing.
Not a public hearing.
Okay.
What is this? I don't know what do y'all have a public comment section that we're gonna do at the end here, or is this related to this site plan request?
I don't know, is this here? You
I have
about this
questions
one?
and concerns about the site plan specific to this one.
I think you got the discretion to hear from people, but it's not,
Right.
we're not in a formal public hearing, so I don't site plan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can ask questions.
Okay. So, yeah, this is
Would you
a,
mind stating your name? I'm sorry, I'm taking minutes for the record.
yeah, my name is Noah Tolles. I live at 154 Church Road, which is one of the properties adjacent to, this development. And so we have some concern. We have a 3-year-old son. And our backyard is, goes right up to the edge of what this, I think, there's not, property lines indicated on here that I can tell, so it is kind of difficult to know if it does go right up to the property line, or where it stops. And so I was hoping to talk to someone if they could indicate exactly where the property lines are, on this, or more specifically, where the setback measurements are related to this diagram. And is there any plans here that could show where those setbacks are?
Yeah, I don't see the setbacks, but that, I believe that is the property line there, the black.
It is, and I believe also that's what it said, I recollect it was indicated on the preliminary plat. You had to have a buffer zone set up there.
And so do we know then which setback option the developer is choosing? Is it the 50-foot landscape buffer, or are they doing the fence with the 20-foot buffer with landscaping?
To be honest with you, I don't know the answer to that question. I'd have to go look it up.
I don't see.
He had to do either or. He can do, he's allowed to do either or.
I don't see a fence noted on here anywhere unless somebody else has
So
seen
that
it.
would be like 50-foot option.
I don't see any fence.
So I know his property line ends there, or there's this marker here, and then it cuts back across. So my property's all out here, plus out here. And so one thing that if he does do the fence, that we would like to request is that 20 foot from here as well. Because our property does come right up to this point, and this is still us over here. As our house is about right here. Everybody who's in these parking lots, or even right here would be able to see directly into the back of our house, our bedrooms, our bathrooms. So whenever we have people parking here, even if there was a fence that came to there, just stepping right here, I believe, and again, there's no markers here, so it's very hard to tell, that they'd be able to see a straight line to our house just based on where I can stand. It looks like it.
Right, and I believe some of that property though, even though residences are there, some of that property is zoned commercial.
My property is residential.
Right.
The property next to me, which is behind Sullivan's, they were zoned commercial.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
How far is your house off your property line?
50 feet. Yep, which seems like a long distance, but when you look at it, it's very close.
And especially like with how our property is shaped, our house, the property line kind of comes down and then over. So like where the corner of our house and the corner of our property line are probably only like 30 foot from each other or less.
Oh, I'm Erica Knowles, sorry.
So you would prefer a fence as opposed to landscaping? Is that kind of what you're hinting at?
I think so. You know, I guess, and one question I was gonna ask was, if there was a fence, has it been approved by the zoning administrator yet? Because I noticed in the zoning requirements that the fence should also be approved by the zoning administrator. And so I wanted to make sure that if there was a fence, that it was up to standards. I don't know, I couldn't find anywhere it said like height requirements that were allowed, but of course we would want as high as possible. Also couldn't tell, is this JAM building a multi-story building? It goes up to about 30 feet tall, I think.
It is tall, yeah.
But and there's windows up high, but I couldn't tell if it's multi-stories.
Typically, I would think that type of building would not be multi-story.
Just a double
I
height.
think it's so tall because they would throw it.
Yeah, sure.
So they're a lot of.
Sure. Okay.
There could be some office or something around the edge, or I don't know, I haven't seen the plan. But they need a big open space.
What is the maximum height for like fence that could, I mean, is that something that we can request?
Maximum height for a fence?
For the privacy and sound, for a residential home, right behind there. And I know that, you know, I'm not the only house that's right near there either. I know that's zoned commercial, but there's a lot of residential considerations, I think, that need to be taken here.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for your input. I think we'll move on here because I would like to entertain a motion to take.
I said, I was gonna say, I mean, we got a lot of things that could be great for the city of Gluckstadt, but it seems very unfinished.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of steps we need to hit, so.
I would like to see ARB have a chance to take a look at it before it comes back, and also have the applicant here so that we can go over some of the stuff. Because I think we all had a few questions at least, and it's hard to get them answered if we don't have them out.
Honestly, I'd like a better idea of what the final look will be. I mean, I know some of the buildings we have, but like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and there was not a rendering for all of the
correct.
buildings that are shown.
If they're not gonna end up coming to us later, I feel like we need a little more.
Well, and there are some requirements for subdivision stuff as far as laying out like overall plat stuff, right? I mean, some of that may have already been approved, but as far as on the architectural side, are there requirements for them to show like, these are our materials and themes and things that you have to use?
Yeah, they got all that,
They do have that.
but they, yeah.
I did just have one more thing for you guys. And this is what he just showed me in the requirements, but it was mentioned that if there's 20 feet of parking lot to go right up to it. But from what I read, it actually says, that 20 feet shall remain open and landscaped. So I don't think that a parking lot really could go right up to it, based on the way the zoning rules are written. It sounds like that still needs to have the 20-foot
Gotta be at least 20 feet.
Right,
of landscaping space.
Landscape, well, the landscape area.
yeah, and we'll make sure that that is all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Is this something we should come back to, like, I know y'all mentioned like a public hearing instead of this
So,
being like the wrong kind of meeting?
right, no, so certain types of approvals require a public hearing. It has to be noticed in the paper and things like that. And that's typically for like a rezoning or a conditional use or a variance, dimensional variance. Since this is already zoned properly and it's just site plan approval, there's no public hearing required.
Which, if they wanted to keep that parking lot, they would have to ask for a variance and would be a public. Does that make
If
sense?
there's anything they want
So
to
as
do.
long as we uphold the,
Original.
Yeah. if they abide to the regulator, the ordinances, you know, but if that parking lot is within 20 feet and they gotta change it, they would have to get a variance to keep it. So, does that make sense?
And there would be a public hearing for that. It would be noticed in the paper and stuff. So, yeah.
Can we request, or does it not even like really matter if we request to do like more than 20 foot and a fence, or are they just gonna follow with the minimum rule
I
is?
mean, we as the board can take into account, concerned citizens' input. So we appreciate your input today. But yeah, without no public hearing, there's no like official record where you can submit.
So it'll come back up the next meeting.
If we table it, they will do that next month. Yeah, if they get everything together. And so you're welcome to attend that to, stay informed on what's going on.
And hopefully they will attend next month to be able to answer our questions as well as yours.
Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to table.
All right, a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion is tabled. Or the project is tabled.
Mr. Chairman, I think
I had one more question, if that's okay. The person who owns this property, also owns like a strip of property between our neighbors and ourselves.
Yeah, I saw that on the map.
And I think that we were told that they wouldn't be able to use it as like a driveway, but we didn't know if there's anything we could do for like assurance on that. I think it's only like 10 foot of space that they own, and we've talked to him about like selling it to us, but he doesn't seem interested. So I don't know if he's planning to use it for this property.
I don't know if it would even conform to.
It's not wide enough for a road anyway,
Okay.
so they wouldn't be able to do it. But just to have a fire truck go down there and be 26 feet wide.
Okay.
So I don't think it'll be used as a driveway.
Cool. Thank you. That's all.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, so moving on. Our next item on the agenda is a request for a conditional use for 102 Lone Wolf Drive. And so this is one that do we need a public hearing for this?
This is a public hearing, yes, sir.
All right, so, before I open the hearing, did we have everything properly noticed?
And I just guess I'll ask Mr. McCollum and Mr. Buckner by extension, did we publish in the newspaper for 15 days before today's date and also basically post on the property?
Yes.
Okay, and during the pendency of that time, did your office or the city clerk's office receive any input either against or in support of the petition?
I haven't. That was kind of before me, but I have not heard anything.
Okay. I think y'all are clear to, have the public hearing based on jurisdiction requirements.
All right, I'll open the public hearing for 102 Linewood Drive. And so we will start out and then we'll have options for people to speak in favor or against, approval of the project. Mike, do we have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, just, for your information, in the C2 district, warehouses, enclosed warehouses are required to, follow the, conditional use provisions of the zoning regulations, and that's why they're here today. They did submit their, letter requesting conditional use. And as, Mr. Scanlon stated, proper notice has been given, and, we're here today to meet the public hearing requirement. So, it's basically more for use than anything else, whether they can do it or not. That's not really to approve a site plan or building elevations or anything like that.
So they will come back for something.
They'll have to come back for site plan approval.
Okay, so this is off of Howard 51. Is anybody here representing the applicant? Please, state your name for the record. Or sign in, I guess.
I'm Daniel Woodard. I'm the architect for the owner, Todd Carter. We have 2 buildings on the site already. Todd has elected to place 2 more that will be used for storage. It'll be used for a boat storage or cars and that sort of thing. There won't be businesses run out of the building. And from my understanding, that's what we need a conditional use for. For that reason, to be able to do that. So we're here to ask for a conditional use on the property. In doing this, we agreed to come back. There's a gravel parking right now. We're gonna come back. We're gonna concrete a paved hard surface on in the parking area and the moving area. We're leaving that area you see right in the very center. That's going to end up being our retention area. And from there, it'll be, there's drainage along 51 that it'll eventually drain into.
So the southeast.
Yeah, it's along, how I think it'll follow that follows along that property line there. We have a retention pond now on the site originally, about where that building is sitting. And so we're electing to move it up into the center. Our civil engineer tells us that will work just fine. He can make that work.
Yeah, so these will be like leased.
Yeah, and he's really the one in the very back that's planning to use for himself. The other one is, to lease out. The existing buildings that are on the site, the face towards 51 are brick. The other 3 sides have metal on them. These 2 buildings will have brick on all 4 sides. There'll be a single slope to the rear, but we will have a parapet on the back, and we will have an internal gutter on the back. So you won't be seeing the roof from Highway 51. We enhanced the landscaping, probably provide a little more landscaping than was really required, but we kind of want to separate the cars from Highway 51, so you're really looking at bumpers, that sort of thing from 51. Colors of the doors and the awnings will all match the existing buildings that are there now.
Is this, there's some flood zone on this property, is that right?
There's a flood zone. It's in a flood zone.
Yes, flood zone, okay, so that's another one that will require.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll have to be brought up to a certain height.
That's not a problem, I guess, for the detention drainage.
That's my engineer's problem, yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, he told me that we could do it, so we will make it happen.
All right, any more questions? Thank you. Anybody who would like to speak in favor of the project? Okay, Anybody opposed? Who would like to speak? Okay, so we can, I guess I'll close the hearing before we have our.
Yes, sir.
Discussion. All right, I will close the public hearing. And does anyone here have any comments, discussion, anything? The ARB, I guess, any,
It's already been approved.
already been approved, so we're good to go there.
It's been on the outside.
That's right, that's right. Well prepared. Okay, well, hearing no discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve those. Shane.
Okay, second? Second. All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Since we approved the conditional use tonight and we have everything submitted for site plan review, can we have that also approved tonight? I know it's another vote, but
Right, it's, yeah, we don't have on the agenda, I don't know what all, there may be some more stuff. What all do we have, I guess, that we might need for site plan approval?
Daniel, I don't know that you asked for specifically site plan review. I know site plan is required for conditional use.
Yeah. But as far as the site plan approval is a separate item.
Right. I mean, it's just basically enough information for you to kind of make a decision about the use of the property.
Right.
previous administration told us that's what we were doing.
Okay.
That's what I told my owner, so I'm sorry.
Let's see here.
Can a site plan be brought up?
I mean, I'm gonna defer to the zoning administrator if the site plan approval process has happened fully
Yeah, on the
administratively
administrative side.
within his office, then I mean, it doesn't bother me if y'all amend the agenda and add it and consider it, but I don't wanna usurp Mr. McCollum. I'm gonna defer to him. If it's ready to be presented, that's one thing. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, we did turn in an application for it.
Yeah, the application turned in was for site plan review, and they did request conditional use in a letter. I guess if you want to consider it, it'd be okay with me.
But we're not expecting, we're not waiting on anything else on the city side from them, I guess, as far as that we know of.
Well, I would have liked to have been able to send this to the architect review, you know,
Yeah, it came.
you got it,
It was approved.
so you're good with it? Okay, then I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the process, I guess, what do we say about for new business at the end, or can we make it? Just go ahead and do it. What's the?
That's really just a matter. I think either way, if you've got other petitioners in the room.
We do have one more.
Daniel's looking.
And I'm representing that one too.
So either way, I mean, if we want to take it up now, or if we want to let.
Okay, yeah, we can go and do it now. Do I need like?
I mean, if you want to be formal, what I would do is entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add the item of site plan review for this project.
All right, I will,
Address that.
John said, entertain a motion to amend the, agenda, to add site plan review for 102 Lone Wolf Drive. That was a part of 5A. So.
Katrina Myers, I make the motion that we amend the agenda to add the site plan review for the 102 Longwood Drive.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so with our amended agenda, we will now be reviewing the site plan for 102 Lone Wolf Drive. Do we have a representative? All right, well, I think we've covered just about everything. Does anybody have any other more detailed site plan questions? We appreciate the brick, looks good. I know we're trying to get away from that. From all
I told him when we started, I said, the first thing we gotta do, we gotta put brick on.
Especially on 51, I think that's
Yeah,
gonna look
brick is
good.
right there on.
You said one is for personal use, the other one's not for business
He's probably
use.
gonna use this one for personal use, not that he might use the whole thing, but at least two of the bays I know of for sure. This one over here would be, to lease for the same purpose.
Okay. But just for dry storage.
Dry storage, now you boat, cars.
Right, but it's all interior inside.
Yeah.
So it'd be, but not for any kind of.
We will put a bathroom in,
Mhm.
but they're not there for business.
So, and this is not on, we've got the dumpster noted, I guess, that is the one
Yeah,
existing
existing
dumpster.
dumpster right here.
Okay. On the Google Maps from 2023, there is no dumpster there, and they've got trash on the side of the street.
That's a new dumpster.
There is a new dumpster. Okay.
It is.
Yeah, it's right across from our office.
Yeah. I had to-
Tino's actually got the dumpster because we kept complaining about all the trash.
Okay. I guess the additional units, do we feel like that one dumpster?
Yeah, I
is-
think when we did this the first time, it might have been county.
It probably was.
Yeah. I will say that dumpster is not for the whole property. That Tito got that dumpster and said other people can use it, but he would like money for it. That's not a designated dumpster for the entire site.
Okay, so in that case, we probably should require, I mean, somebody should have official dumpster, the official dumpster they should use.
So that should be the official dumpster of the site. I
Right.
would think that would be between Todd and his tenants and.
So that is that dumpster, is that on leased space or is it, that's the,
No, it's on the site. It's on the site. It's
Right.
not attached to any building or anything. It's part of the, like, it's just like parking. It's
provided by
part of
the,
the site, you know, they provide those.
I don't know if there's anything we would need to do then to, I mean, it would be a problem if these new tenants try to use it and are told they can't, but I think that's a separate issue that would need to be taken up later. Probably that's beyond our,
With the owner.
beyond our scope.
With the owner.
We'll let Gordon, we'll let,
We don't
building
tolerate
code-
garbage on the
building
ground
code
out there, I
people
can tell you that.
Okay, well, any other comments?
I'll just clarify, that there would be no additional outdoor storage, outside of these.
And that would be against the.
Yeah, that'd be a zoning violation.
Yeah.
Do you know what the width is, right?
It should be 26 feet.
It's like 26 or 26.6.
It should just be 26.
Must be 0.
Yeah, that's right on top of that line, but it's like 26.
Yeah, it's a bit tight in that upper corner, in that back corner there where there's a dead end.
Here?
No, the bottom.
Here,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still 26 feet though between.
So it should have to be back to it now. Yeah.
That's pretty much a requirement.
If you pull down there and there's no space available, then you're gonna have to back out, but
You will.
it's not a very long drive at least. Okay, well, we have a motion for approval or denial of the site plan for 102 Lone Wolf.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. The recommend approval. Okay, so moving on with our amended agenda, we will now be on 5B, request for approval of 346 Church Road Nail Salon additional use. This will also require a public hearing. Do we have proper notice for this?
Yes, proper notice was posted in the paper and on the site. I will say that, as part of the amended zoning ordinance, the board is required that the nail salons, do apply for conditional use permit for this. I will say the only other thing, big issue that I see on this is required to have a nail salon separated by 4,000 feet. This actually is 2,800 feet from the closest one. So, they would currently be in, if it was there today, that we allowed them to build it, they would be in violation of the zoning ordinance. They do have the option to come back, and ask for dimensional variance for that. But that would be a separate matter if it's not before the planning and zoning board today. It's one of those deals where I probably would have advised them of that had I been here a little earlier. But right now, this is what we have before us.
Well, I guess I've not opened the meeting yet. Did we get everything we needed for?
I think, yes, sir, it sounds like Mr. McCollum has said that we have, accomplished notice, and I could just, as an additional question, I always like to ask if the city's received any kind of comments that want to be included in the record in favor of or against, okay?
Okay, well, I will, public hearing. So I guess I'll start off and say, if they're gonna need a dimensional variance, can we do one and then do the other, or is there anything legal that?
Well, first of all, dimensional variance does require a specific application and a public hearing notice, I think, as you noted earlier, so that's not something you can take up tonight, if that's what you're asking.
Right, no, not necessarily that, but can we give a conditional use for something that would still require a dimensional variance to be used?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, one of the conditions that you are implicitly finding has been met when you grant a conditional use is that they're in compliance with all other applicable ordinances in the city of Gluckstadt. And as Mr. McCollum noted, there was a change made to that ordinance by the Board of Aldermen a couple of months ago.
It's pretty new.
Yeah, which does put that distance in between them. So, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a fact finder in this room. I don't sit as an appointed member of the board, but I do think.
I will say that, it's been brought up by the applicant and other applicants. Well, what if I'm only using 20% of my area in there for nail salon? The rest of it's gonna be a spa or, hair salon or something like that. And my interpretation, I think it's the board's intent that if any nail salon type work or fingernail polishing or whatever is being done, then that's considered to be happening in there. So, that's just been the way I read it and the way I interpret it.
If I'm not mistaken, to date, there are a total of 11 nail salons currently in the
This will
city.
be number 11 if y'all approve.
A 12th one was just approved, right? Or was that the?
No, they
11th?
denied it.
They denied.
They denied it.
They denied above, okay, so.
Was that one, did that one need a variance? Was that was the last one?
No,
the
last one did not need a variance.
They did not need a variance, but it was still denied.
They just denied that one.
They were on opposite sides, they still would not.
Okay. So if we have the public hearing, do we have to go one way or the other on can you table a conditional use after having a public hearing?
You can, there's a number of ways to do it.
You could continue the hearing.
You can continue the hearing itself to a date certain, or you can conduct the entirety of the hearing tonight, close the hearing, and just continue the vote, or table it like you did on another item earlier. Of course, you can also entertain a motion to approve, recommend approval rather, recommend denial, and you can recommend approval or denial subject to recommend, certain modifications and things. So you have a number of options that I would recommend that since you've got publication and physical posting and all that accomplished, at least go ahead and have the first part of the public hearing, if not all of it, and not all of it. Because even to do any of those actions, you gotta have a public hearing first.
Right. Okay. Do we have anyone here representing?
Yeah, this is kind of a tricky one. A client come to me, a month or so ago. They own a nail salon already in town. They own the one that's on, the Parkway, those two buildings that are right next to each other, Local Nails, that's what it is called, Local Nails. And it's a full manicure, pedicure nail salon. They rented this space right after, they opened that one. Used a different architect and contractor, turned it into the city. The architect was finally able to please the city on what they needed to have done. And the contractor never showed up to get a building permit. And that's when the ordinance was passed. You had to be 4,000 feet from the previous one. And they got caught in between that just because the contractor did not show up to get the permit. So that's been about a year and a half ago, and they've been paying rent on this empty space during his time. So they came to me about 2 months ago and put in a nail salon. I said, you can't. There's an ordinance that says you can't put in a nail salon. We went and visited with previous administration, and he assured them that he could not put a nail salon in. They asked, well, can we put a day spa? Because they do have a request from their clients for day spa use. And he made it clear they could. And what he read to us, and I'm afraid I can't find that now, is that a day spa is a use where for beautification or health reasons, and one of them would be painting nails, painting toes, you know. And so we tried to minimize the nail salon area. So we got 4 stations there in the very front. We've also got a retail area in the very front. So it's not like the very first thing you see when you walk in, because you got the retail area. So we do have 4 stations for that. We have 4 foot massage stations, and I would assume they would probably also be used for pedicure. I don't know, but they probably would be. And then we have the head massage and the massage area and the wax area. So it's supposed to be a spa, a day spa, but it does have the opportunity to have nails done. And if that creates a problem, then I can go back and tell my clients they can't have it, but that's what we're asking for, the day spa.
So I guess, was there any reason you didn't come with it? I guess it was, you were told you did not need a dimensional variance. Is that why we don't have one right
Yeah,
now?
that's exactly what I was told. Oh, this is a day spa. It doesn't require to be 4,000 feet away. Right. And he didn't mention that, you know, any nail salon activities would require to be 4,000 feet away. So
And I guess that,
and I apologize for that.
that's okay.
I did not know.
That's per, I guess, the wording of the modifications to that ordinance, that it's clear on, I guess, like you said, any amount of nail spa.
No, it's not. It's not clear. No, it's not clear. But it was my interpretation. That's what I stated earlier.
Okay.
And the planning and zoning board has the authority to overrule the interpretation of the zoning administrator. If you think it should be a different interpretation, John, I think they have the right to do that.
Last month, we held to that 4,000 feet. We talked about it with the last, that was the barometer we kind of used then. So.
Well, and so to grant a dimensional variance requires certain findings, correct? Like,
It does. It's got to be something that's, you know, unique to the shape of the property itself or something like that. And it's not just a financial hardship. I don't have that provision in front of me, but that's, and I don't, you know.
Peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district.
And as I've been sitting here thinking about this, since Mike brought it up a moment ago, what we conventionally think of as a dimensional variance in front of this board, I'm not sure is exactly what you'd be applying for here. It would really more be like the Board of Aldermen granting relief from that 4,000 foot requirement and under the unique circumstances Mr. Waldridge pointed out a minute ago. So if there is a way for this Board of Aldermen, the mayor and the Board of Aldermen, to grant this, it would include certainly another action, but I don't know if it would technically really be a dimensional variance, because that usually has to do more with things like setback and things that would render the property in effect unusable. Whereas this property hypothetically would not be unusable and used for a different use. I don't know if that.
Is there currently a stop permit order on this project?
Stop work order? Not that I'm aware of.
There was at one time.
Can you tell me about that?
Oh, the previous, the owners that was going to put a nail salon in, they used an out-of-state architect and contractor. And from my understanding, what happened, the architect finished the drawings, the contractor started work, and without asking, they stopped.
Without asking the board. You said without
Without getting a permit.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, without getting a building permit, yes. At that time, it didn't require, I mean, it was the 4,000 foot, rule didn't,
Right.
wasn't.
Right, that's not the reason for us today, because the building's already there, right?
It's
Yeah,
already,
the building's already.
the site's already developed.
It's only for the use.
Interior
So
renovation.
that's the reason for the stop order work. They just showed up and started working.
If I just want to make sure I'm clear with something, maybe with Mr. McCollum, Mr. Woodward. So this is, we're talking about C2 conditional uses that would be listed in C2 under the zoning ordinance. Right?
That's correct, yes.
Is day spa a listed use inside, or spa a listed use inside the zoning order? I just can't find it.
I was looking too, I didn't. see
It's just a basic, it's just a business location, just a regular business location. Without it, I mean. the
Oh,
board of
without the nail part, you're saying it would be a permitted use or something? Or is that-
Yeah, yes, I would say it's a permitted use.
And I'm gonna refer back to the, previous administration. They told me we would still need a conditional use.
Okay, well, I guess I'm trying to figure out where
How he came about that, I don't know.
I see it says on the application, public services spa on use all of the property, and I'm just trying to match that up with either a listed use or, I mean, if he was, you're talking about Mr. Mike McCollum, okay, so I don't know what he was thinking, obviously, but my presumption is that part of it had to do with the fact that part of the use had to do with nail salons, excuse me, because of that change of the mayor and board made to the ordinance requiring the distance between two.
Yeah, what he's saying here, I believe, hopefully this clears it up. He was saying that the nail salon part of it was more or less ancillary to the day spa. And if it was just a little part of it, then the whole thing wouldn't be considered, that use wouldn't be considered as a nail salon.
Probably it may have, Mike, I know I'm asking you to read his mind as well, but maybe it fell into unlisted use interpretation of the zoning administrator, and that's why his advice was to seek approval.
It does kind of feel like a circumvention to have a nail salon.
Yeah, especially because
There's
you've
a
got
nail
the
table.
there, and then you've got the massage, I feel like
So
half the building is gonna be used for manicures, pedicures. Right. I
that's
mean, that's essentially, it's like it's trying to, I feel like it's maybe like
In which.
the head
kind of like,
massage.
just call it something different, we'll run a nail salon.
Yeah.
You got good massages, but that's gonna be paid.
That's pedicures, so 50% of the building is gonna be used for manicures and pedicures.
Right, and that's gonna be, and going with Lauren said, that's gonna be pedicure areas, because those are tables up front, and those tables are strictly gonna be manicures. You gotta have a place to do pedicures, so your pedicures will go back there to the foot massage.
So that's gonna have the buildings gonna be used for nails regardless, so.
Does anyone have any more questions for the applicant's representative? Okay, thank you.
All right.
Anybody that would like to speak in favor of the project? Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, well, I will then close the public hearing. Yeah, I don't see how we can grant a conditional use given the existing issues, unless we want to make the finding that it is not, in fact, a nail salon. That's, I think, the only way we can make it work.
That probably can.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to giving them the opportunity to come back with a dimensional variance, but I don't see where it would fit under approval via dimensional variance, as Mr. Scanlon said. It doesn't really fit what typically is.
And John, they could ask the mayor and board of aldermen for that interpretation as well, even though y'all deny, I mean, your recommendation. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it ultimately ends up before the mayor and board anyway, since it's just an advisory board. So, I mean, you could do it that way if you wanted to ask them for interpretation. You mean to hand it back down and reconsider in September? I mean, that's one possible way to do it, but I would think since they're going to be interpreting it that way anyway, might save a step. And
well, and we just had a denial of one that met the admin variance, right?
Yeah.
Was there any did we get a comment from the board on their denial as to?
if I recall correctly, Mike, they just voted no.
They just voted no, basically.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
5-0, if I'm not mistaken, 4-1.
And you could make
Four.
the
Okay,
recommendation
yeah.
to approve without the nail salon part. And just to be
Strictly
utilized
massage.
as a,
Yep.
an actual day spa with nothing but massage.
And wax.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to that if something y'all are interested in. I don't know
I
if
mean,
that would,
I
I don't know if that would
kinda,
kill the project.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt Casey. And I say some of this, you know, for the benefit of your new zoning commissioners, but you always can add conditions onto conditional uses. You're not restricted to those listed inside the ordinance. You know, you could say we've met these, plus we have other conditions we can put on top of them. It's another option. The paperwork says day spa. I just can't make that match with anything inside the zoning ordinance. So that's why I'm assuming that the previous zoning administrator was operating under administrative interpretation.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the idea of approval conditional on no, that's something that's gonna be hard to police, I think, after the fact. It kind of feels like a workaround.
yeah, that, I mean, I'm kind of inclined to deny based on, it just looks like a workaround to have a nail salon. I mean, and so it's, you know, essentially based on the interpretation, it looks like, you know, we already had one that got denied last month and then it fit the footage requirement. And I mean, I know it's listed as day spa, but it looks like the functional use of it will be nail salon.
Yeah, unless we want to make some sort of finding on the delay as to why that,
Yeah.
it would have been approved.
We just took a quick look at the ordinance. It says spa is required as a conditional use.
Is it?
It says spa.
Is it the one that they changed?
It doesn't say day spa, it says spa.
Is that one on the website or I need to get up to date with on the website?
What is that actually?
Yeah, what's the?
Actually, I got it right here.
2024.
So
Here's a hard copy.
oh, you're not looking at the zoning ordinance.
No, we're looking at
Oh,
the
you're looking at
change.
an amendment. I was looking at this right here. Okay, so.
Yeah, I don't know how often we need to like, add all the amendments.
Changes, I know.
Very typical timeline every few years.
City original's got 20 of them. I mean, in order to read the whole thing, technically you gotta go through all of them, but, it's good these days, since you got them electronically, it's good if you can do it. I think it's better for the zoning administrator to have a one-stop shop, but
Well, that would clarify things a lot. If the spot is listed as conditional use.
Is that like the last one?
Mr. President, Rick,
Like I was looking at the massage table where you can do it.
Yeah, that, I mean, that was the change.
so they added the definition,
Of the word spa.
and is it also, I'm asking Chris now to add it as a conditional use to section C2?
Right.
Is that what, okay,
So
I see it now under top page 4.
what's the date on that ordinance?
Date on the ordinance is December 2024.
It gives a definition of spa in there, I think.
Right, it definitely has a definition of spa, which is a commercial establishment offering services for the purpose of improving health, beauty, and relaxation through personal care treatment, such as, but not limited to, massages and facials. And then later on, it says amend the section that's contained within the C2 section, adding spa as a conditional use.
And I see nail salon.
I think that's right. Let me see. Should be under section 2202.
I see it now. It hangs over to the next page. So if you didn't turn to the next page, you can miss it.
Yeah,
Number G.
top of page 5, right?
Yes, W spa. Yeah, commercial salon, barber shop, nail salon. Okay.
the version of Illinois, something like that. Or, so there must have been some other. I need to get my own version.
All right, okay, so given that spa is a conditional use requirement,
Make a motion to recommend denial.
okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor of the denial motion, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, we will recommend denial to the board. Let them do. Okay. Okay, that is all we've got on our agenda. I do have some new business, I did want to bring up. So I missed the meeting last month and, was surprised to find out. Yes, no, I will say I'm very honored and appreciated that y'all considered me for the position. I appreciate that. I'll say I've got a lot of non-zoning board stuff going on in my life right now. I just don't know if I can put the time into being a chairman that it needs for the city. And so I would, if y'all would accept, I would like to tender my resignation as chair of the board and enjoy my one day as chairman. Assuming somebody else is
We can't
willing
do
to step
that.
up.
You did such a good job.
I appreciate it. It was not too bad. You were easy on me. Yeah, you were easy. Yeah, no, my wife and I have some stuff going on that I think it needs to take precedent. I think any of y'all will do a good job, and I'm very thankful that y'all thought that I could do a good job. But yeah, I would like to resign.
I know Melanie was willing to do it, just wanted to give somebody else an opportunity, so. Make a motion to-
So.
Nominate the other
Yeah, the
person. Not here.
president appointing someone who's not
The other
here.
person.
Don't
miss the meeting.
Casey's vice, technically, in your absence, she's serving up.
John, could they wait till the next meeting to appoint somebody?
You certainly can wait until the next meeting to elect somebody. You know, Zach and I, as y'all know, prefer to have communications with the chair in advance of the meeting, although you and I didn't do that today, but I think maybe you and Zach did.
Only because I called him because I read the minutes and found out I was the chair.
So, just.
Well, I thought I was nominated.
I'd like
I didn't
to-
realize I was already officially approved.
Either coordinating with you or planning a time to talk to you ahead of the next meeting, you know, whether it's just procedural running a meeting or just such and something. But you don't have to, you can do it right now if you want to. If you said, either option, you can vote to appoint somebody or you wait till the next meeting.
I would feel a little bad doing the same thing that was done to me. I guess Casey, if you wouldn't mind, if we can get a hold of Melanie and you would mind running the next meeting, then we can appoint somebody then.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Could I say one thing before we adjourn?
Sure.
First of all, I'm glad to be back. But I am trying to learn some of the city systems again, how things actually work, like meeting code, where all the agendas are set up for the planning and zoning board and the mayor board of aldermen. I think I've got it, but, tonight's meeting didn't run as smooth as what I'd like for it to run. And, hopefully we'll see some improvement there at the next one. And, you will have all this back and forth, so on and so forth. So anyway, that, and like I say, I am here, basically 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday is typical, unless there's a special meeting like the town hall on Thursday, I had to be here for that. You can always call. I don't have any issue with anybody calling me on my cell phone. If I'm not here during the week or whatever, have a question, I'm happy to answer those even when I'm not here. So, but anyway, glad to be back and, congratulations on our new members. Appreciate y'all stepping up to the plate and doing that. And, like I say, my door's open when I'm here and my phone's always open. So, does anybody have any questions of me, going forward or whatever? But,
Thank you for stepping in. Yes, we.
I'm a little bit sheepish about stepping in under circumstances like this, but Gluckstadt was fair and good to me when I was here before. And you know, the mayor asked, it's just hard to say no to him if he asks. Gluckstaff's got a great mayor, by the way, and a great board, but, you know, I want to try to help out any way I can, while I'm here. So, thank you.
Likewise for the two, new commissioners, so, you know, make sure you'll get my phone number and contact information before we leave, because y'all always welcome to call my office, talk to me or Zach, or Cherry, so y'all might even see him sometimes occasionally. He came to cover the meeting, Board of Alderman meeting a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the first time, one of the aldermen had ever met him. No, I'm sorry, it was the deputy clerk had ever met him.
Oh, I got you.
All right, any other new business? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Do we have any motions to adjourn? Okay, any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned. Yeah, I think Andrew got this one.